Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Long time no see.
Yeah, been a while. What's going on, man? How are you?
Good. Yeah, lots of action.
I know it's been like a month now, I think. 3 weeks?
I think so. Yeah. If you feeling better? Family feeling better?
Yeah, it was crazy. We were all sick for like really sick for a good 12 days. And then coming off the tail end of it, I lost my voice, which is lots of fun.
Oh, ugh. Yeah. So no bueno for recording.
No, not great, but that's all right. Back in business now.
Back in business. Nice.
All right, give me the update. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shoot, lots of stuff. My account, my social media is just absolutely on a tear right now.
Yeah, I noticed.
Just hit a million on a video, which is crazy. It's
Nice.
always a good
That's
sign.
awesome.
Haven't done that in a couple of years, to be honest. And it took me 10 seconds to film it. No editing.
Classic.
I've realized that the content that I'm making in the past, or a lot of the content that I have been making, it's like it's for us. It's like our colleagues and peers. And like we know all this stuff kind of already because we're tinkering with it on a daily basis, like comparatively compared to the average person or like the masses where they don't even know how to use ChatGPT at all still.
Yeah.
So a lot of the content that I've been trying to make recently is more guided towards that audience, and it's working because it's applicable to everybody, not just agency owners or business owners or people that are in the depths of playing with AI tools and things like that.
Yeah. So you're going for more beginner friendly content.
Yeah, yeah, and it's reaching 10x the amount of people, which is great.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
awesome.
seeing this format work is nice. So just try to, just like everything else, double down, triple down on that format that's working and keep it ripping.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Yeah, I've got this quote on replay in my mind, which is Alex Ramosi, people need to be reminded more than they need to be told, or more than they need to be taught. Like it's not like you need to think of new video ideas all the time of like, oh, I made one about that a couple weeks ago. It's like just remake it. Just make it again in a different voice. Talk
yeah,
about the same concept again over and over.
yeah, and especially with trial reels, like having a video that works well, you can post that to trial reels, and it will go to a whole new audience of non-followers,
Yeah.
and you'll get a ton of action from it. And I've been doing that with a couple of mine, and it's interesting. Like the one that just hit a million this morning, it's 90. I think it's 98.9% non-followers who have engaged with that piece of content,
Yeah.
and that was just a normal post, but it's just because that it's like there's so many more people out there than just your audience, and you just need to, join us. Come.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of the success metric that I look at for Reels now is the percentage of the audience that's new people that are watching the content.
Same.
And then I look at the story views as a gauge of how many people are actually engaging with my content
From followers.
from followers. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
that's
sorry, just so you know, I've only got a half hour. I hear two kids screaming downstairs. I'm gonna have to go help soon.
okay. Sounds good. Yeah. So yeah, having that work, and then just getting like thousands of opt-ins, which is crazy for all these free guides and things. And oh yeah, I can hear. I can hear.
Hmm.
That's got to be distracting a little bit.
Yeah.
Shoot. Well, yeah. So like that's going good. A ton of new brand deals in the pipeline, which is great. This AI creator community that I joined, which basically has like all the big people that are talking about AI, content creators about that are talking about AI related stuff. We started this. Uh, One guy started a group chat, and since then we've been just like having these calls and connecting with other like-minded people in the space, and we're talking about trying to do like an online seminar and like a retreat, and like using our combined power of audience to try to do some crazy stuff, which is exciting. Coming out with a new course, like high ticket course and high ticket coaching soon, because so many of the businesses that I've talked to in Las Vegas, specifically that came from my pickleball group, it's all like direct consultations. And it's very similar to the post idea. It's like these guys are just trying to are going from 0 to 1 and introducing AI into their business in any way, shape, or form. And every single person I talk to is so overwhelmed that it's just like, we need to create some structure, create a foundation, get the simplest thing out first, and then we can build on top of that with AI and automation and agents and all these different things and tools, rather than trying to like brute force it all at once, which causes so many more problems than it does solutions.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about building a base of AI. There's one guy that I follow going through my YouTube history. Yeah. I think I've mentioned him before. Nick Savary. Sariv? We're going to call him Nick Sarah.
Okay.
But he has one of the best AI automation agencies. AI automation YouTube channels, and he runs a school community about it, and he runs an agency. And it's interesting how he sets it up, because all of his YouTube content is about, here are some easy AI automations that you can sell to other businesses. But the content is actually very good. It's very useful. So his whole content flow is about taking really simple AI automation concepts and showing people how to implement them. And then in turn, people that are like potential clients that would be interested in AI automation will end up watching the content being like, okay, this is the guy, he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So the content is consumer facing, and he's talking about the most universally applicable automations that any business could implement or any agency could implement for a business. And in turn, he gets clients that are looking for that exact same simple solution. So like you don't need to be the best at implementation. You don't need to know the latest, greatest tools. You just need to find the few automations that could apply for every single business and learn how to apply them really well.
Yeah, they don't need to be overly complicated. One of the other side pieces of content I've been trying to make to more promote Stammer is he using N8N?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a big piece. So a lot of people, a lot of agencies that I've talked to recently in the last couple of weeks are seeing that type of content and then being like, oh my gosh, I have to spend weeks building this super complicated, system and workflow, when essentially what they're trying to rebuild is what we've built with Stammer, which is all, which also has all the other benefits of being ready to sell in the way that they're trying to sell it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the angle I'm trying to go off of is like, yes, these are great, but you shouldn't be spending your time building without any clients. You need to spend your time selling and marketing yourself to get that client. And what better way to do that than having a white label platform that is ready to go for you from day one. And then you build on top of that with these more complicated automations and workflows.
Especially because that's the first pain point that every new agency owner has. So like, well, I don't know the service. I don't know how to fulfill it. Even if I get a customer, I don't know what to do. You've kind of solved that problem because you've given these people the platform that they can already sell.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've known this for a while, but like the agencies who know how to sell and they have clients, or they've had clients in the past, or they have business experience, they are absolutely crushing with it and are deploying thousands of bots now. It's insane. We've hit all-time highs again in revenue, which is fantastic.
Nice.
And the other cohort of people is like these kids basically that have no experience, haven't done anything in terms of like online business at all or service-based stuff at all. And it's so tough to try to get them from 0 to 1 and like get that first sale, get that first customer. And so much of the advice and information that we've been pumping out there has all been about just like how to get your first client, different ways and methods to do that, whether it's through your network or cold calling, cold emailing. And so many of the people that tell us that they've had success are like, yeah, I just cold called like 20 businesses and I got my first client in a day.
For like, sure. Yep.
There you go. Like,
yeah, just takes a bit of effort.
Just got to keep ripping the phones and yeah, just get yourself out there in any way possible. Whether that's And I always try to push organic content, but that's such a whole nother barrier to even get started. So I'm just like, that's great, but yeah. So
Dude, if you don't want to be on the camera, if you don't want to be making content, you can honestly just use ChatGPT to piece together sentences that you could fit into a carousel. Do these long form carousels with a
yeah,
comment DM at the end, and you'll get thousands of comments and thousands of leads. And you can use the simplest tools. If you don't want to go through GHL, just use ManyChat, integrate it to Brevo, and just send an automated email. Like, it's so easy to grow now. That's my lazy way of making content. When I don't have time to like put together a reel for Bambii, I just take some concept from a document that we have. I'm like, hey, put this into a carousel, and
yeah,
then I'll just paste it into our Figma template, post it out there, and then I have ManyChat doing the comment DM.
yep,
Like, that's my cheating way of making content when I don't have time to get a reel together.
yeah.
And it works. I mean, we have stuff that has like thousands of comments.
And those are some of your best posts.
Yeah, some of them have been pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried Manus AI yet?
Not yet.
So they put out a very interesting release in the last week or so where you can basically just dump a ton of information into it and tell it to generate a slideshow or a carousel that is in a certain format, like a carousel for Instagram, and it will take the information and generate the slides all in one go. And I
Nice.
did this for a agency accelerator call last week where I was talking about how to do onboarding, like how to onboard a client. And within the 10 minutes right before the meeting, I had nothing, and then I just put it all into that thing, and it generated a full slide deck for me that I then used in my presentation within 10 minutes. And
What platform is this? Manus?
yeah, I think it's called manus.im, I think. Yeah, manus.im. And yeah, and I used that presentation for the demonstration and the call, and it had all the information that I could ever want, plus stuff that it generated that it thought it would be useful. It formatted it, made it look nice. Like, there's no reason to generate or spend hours in Canva getting things right or typing things out when I can just put it in here, and it will allows you to download it as a PDF or because what it does is it generates it all in HTML, which is really interesting. But you can download it as a PDF, and then it just pops up nicely where you can go slide by slide.
Interesting.
So, and I've tested it with carousels, and you can just tell it, stay in a 1:1 format, and then it'll export a carousel. Like
That's
of
awesome.
content.
That's cool. See, look, this is just making you faster. It's not taking anybody's job away. It's just like making the workflow way quicker.
Well, so I'm sure you've seen Google VO3 and all the video stuff that's come out recently, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. And I've talked with a lot of people, a lot of the content creators in my group we've been talking about it, and the people that are creating the best stuff are creatives. Funny enough. Like, who would have thought, right? Like, it's not us nerds sitting at our computer. We're like, oh, I'm funny. No, no, no. Like, you have to like be creative and know what you want and know how to prompt that in order to get a good result. Then once that happens and that gets posted, then everyone copies you and that's how trends start. So like the Stormtrooper trend or the Yeti trend or the whole POV style trend in general. That was somebody created that who was actually creative and then posted it. And like there's another guy who made one for Kalishi or Kalshi, which is like an online betting platform. And he was like, yeah, I spent like $400 in API credits because it costs like $3 to $5 per 8-second video right now through API. And he stitched it together, and apparently it's going like it's a commercial that Kalishi bought, and they're going to run it as an ad, like at some like soccer event or like some sporting event soon.
Very interesting.
And he was like, this would have cost us like $400K to build and to make. And he was like, I made it for $400.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Look what's going to happen to the cost of production, though. Like the quality of production versus cost is the
Yeah.
gap is narrowed dramatically.
And the difference is like where like, oh, well, it's going to take people's jobs. Like, well, you have to know how to use it in order for it to be any good. If it's
Hmm.
not any good, then they wouldn't have bought it and they wouldn't use it. And it's like what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, where that light and magic thing, where, you know, like back in the 60s when computer graphics came out and people in the model shop were like, oh, I don't want to go to computer graphics. Like, I would highly, highly, highly advise anybody in this, you know, niche or market, like run towards these tools and become good at them. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind, and you are the one, like, you are the person that is going to be the best at using this type of stuff, not me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's adapt or die. That's it. Like there's no way around it.
yeah, yeah. So it's very exciting times right now. I think there's so many opportunities out there for people to make just a ton of money, and yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting, and you're really at the center of it.
Try to be. I mean, it's every day now. There's something new that's coming out, and we're so close to getting our voice out. We've been demoing it and testing it, and we've implemented it into another couple businesses, and everyone's loving it. Like, they're like, "Holy shit! I can't believe it's working this well." And it's the simplest things. There's no functionality or anything. It's basically just replacing voicemail. Like, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
I never thought that would be like a use case that people actually like, but they're like, this is amazing. Like, what else can it do? Like, okay,
Mm.
well, now, you know, now we can start. But crazy. Yeah. But
Yeah,
how,
so are you just working to get the voicemail function out first and then build on top of it?
yeah. So like inbound first. So inbound calling.
Got it.
Um, in most cases, it's basically like with the existing phone system, if the phone rings X amount of times, it then does a transfer to the AI agent call, and the AI agent picks up immediately and starts talking, you know, what do you want? What do you need? Who are you? All these things, gathers all that information. And then instead of just a person leaving a voicemail with no context or nothing, or it helps weed out like somebody trying to sell an office something versus a patient.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Great use case. And it go obviously it goes 24/7, and you know, and all these different languages and things. And then the front office worker can just like read through the transcripts or get a summary of the transcript, or get the information that is pulled from the summary. There's so many things that are easier to do technically because there is a very clear start and stop to a phone call rather than an ongoing conversation through a chat channel. So things like function calling and pulling data from a conversation, it's so much easier to do that stuff technically, which is really cool. So very exciting.
It'd be interesting to see because I think that you're legally only allowed to use it on inbound, right? Like I don't think it's allowed to actually be a prospecting tool.
No, it cannot do cold calling.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It has
But
to, it has
the,
to be opt-ins or something like a appointment reminder and things like that.
so when I was working sales, this is going back like almost a decade. One sort of hack that we did is we did voicemail drops. So we would use Sly Broadcast and drop voicemails to people, and I would do 10 at a time.
Yep.
And then just hope that I would get one call. Sometimes I'd get four calls, and then I would miss three of them because I'm on the phone. But the idea is you call someone, leave them a voicemail, they see it, and they call you back. They're like, oh, sorry, I didn't even see the phone ringing. I wonder how this would work with AI on the other end of it. You could do like a
Interesting.
hundred voicemail drops, and then all of a sudden 50 people call you back, and it's handling all of them and filtering through the leads.
That's a very interesting use case.
I don't know if it's legal, but it's possible.
Yeah, if they haven't opted in, it gets sketchy when they haven't opted in and it's a consumer, not a business.
Yeah, I mean, the more legit way would be go to real businesses that have call volume or help them with their call volume, run Google call campaigns in addition to having this AI service on the other end of it. So it's
Exactly.
kind of like the modern day version of running lead gen campaigns, but your cost per call could be $2, The AI can handle all the call probably better than you could anyways, and it's around the clock, and it'll book the appointment for you.
Yeah. I think the other supercharged use case will be from things that we've done in the past together with real estate lead gen. Someone opts in to sell their home. They fill out the form, here's your phone number, whatever, and then the AI calls them instantly and does the full qualification step. Where are you based? Are you ready to sell now? What's the condition? Does it need, all those things that we used to try to, get figured out. And then the call ends, the AI will summarize it, pull out all the data, send that to the CRM. That triggers an automation that then text messages the agent that says, oh, Brock is ready to sell his home for this price, blah, 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 blah. And so he wakes up with like 10 text messages in the morning with people that have opted in and had phone calls throughout the night.
Oh, dude, that would be so good. When we were running real estate ads for buildings, like we would get contracted to sell a 400 unit building. And how amazing would that be? Because our cost per lead on some of these buildings were literally $2 because it's such a hot commodity. Everybody wanted to buy this unit.
Yep. So you tack on 15, 20 cents of call, AI agent phone call cost on top of that lead. And then you're just ripping leads.
Unbelievable. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So super excited to get that out. But I want to hear more about Bambii. How's Bambii going?
It's good, man. Sorry, the kids are screaming. I'm gonna have to jump shortly.
Okay.
But yeah, everything with Bambii is good. We're still partnered with that woman Tara in Australia, who's been like really helpful to help us actually bring on new customers. But on the feature side, we did something kind of sneaky smart, where we launched this Discover feature. Did I talk about this yet?
I don't think so.
So basically, previously we were paying money to get creators to post videos about us. And they would post it, tag us as a collaborator. They would talk about Bambii. But the amount of downloads and trials and then eventually moving to paid subscriptions that we would get wouldn't be profitable in the first month. So you might make up for it on the other end because they're $10 a month subscriptions, but most people opt for the annual. So if you're not profitable immediately on the video, then pretty much didn't break even on it. Right, so we thought, how do we make this valuable for the creator, not just valuable for us? Where we can do an exchange of service, like a value swap, rather than saying, hey, we'll pay you whatever, $300 per video. So we launched a feature inside of Bambii where we recommend brands and creators. So brands can list an exclusive discount that are only available to our users. So you have to download and use the app in order to get the discount on these super popular products. We actually have some like massive brands coming on, like a huge formula company, huge swaddle company, which is like when you put the baby in a straitjacket because you don't want them flailing their arms at night. So there's like these big companies that are joining and giving exclusive offers only in Bambii. And then we also have big creators, these sleep specialists, nutritionists, pediatric growth and development experts that are being listed in the app. And then thousands of users in Bambii can see these recommendations with a direct link to their services or a direct link to their product. So there's no transaction. We're using it. It looks like a commerce interface, but it operates like a database. So you click on it and then it just brings you to the Shopify store with the coupon code applied at checkout automatically. Or you click on the creator and it brings you directly to their profile where they can contact a pediatric sleep expert, something like that. So we're like, hey, this is a value exchange. We will feature you in Bambii. Thousands of parents are going to see it. They're all new parents with kids under 2. It's exactly who you're serving. In exchange, you give us a shout out. Either tag us in an Instagram reel, tag us in a story, or add us to your email campaign once a month to keep the privilege of being featured on the platform. So that launched on Friday. And then we've slowly had some of the promos going out this week. So far, it might be a really good way to solve our customer acquisition problem. Because in software, it's like very difficult to break even on first customer acquisition, especially when we're super low cost, like $10 a month or $45 a year.
Yeah.
So that might have solved the acquisition problem. So time will tell, but already it's working pretty well. Like we got 20 trials, not just downloads, 50 downloads yesterday, 50% convert to trial. And then our trial to paid is about 50% as well. So it'll be, call it like whatever, 12 paid customers yesterday at an average order value of $25. So whatever that is, $300.
Interesting. Going back to our roots.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just conversion marketing. Like that's all, it's all conversion anyways. It's just what's the point A to point B on conversion?
Yeah.
Is it like call to closed or is it download to trial? It's all just conversion marketing.
Damn, that's very interesting. That's not a. How'd you cut? Like, did you just think of that like as an opportunity, or
Pretty
anybody like?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was between Tara and I. Yeah, we
Yeah.
came up with this one.
Interesting.
Just solving the acquisition problem. That's all.
How's like retention and MRR and all that? Is it holding steady or?
Yeah, I mean, retention's fucking amazing. We had a bit of a downturn last week because we released an update that had a mathematical error in the sleep time. So it's like the time the child is awake, it shows you, let's say, and put the child down in an hour and a half, but then the actual nap time is showing 2 hours. So there was like I made an error on the math that led to this discrepancy and people noticed. And then some people got frustrated and left. I'm like, fuck, just
Oh,
risk this. But we actually had a fix pretty much the next day. But there were other features that we were working on, and it was the decision: do we launch it now and then keep working on these other features, or do we just do it all at once, launch it, and maybe have some people that were going to churn just churn out anyways? So that's what we ended up doing. But anyway, the fix is live as of yesterday morning. So for the most part, very low retention. I think we're at like tracking for 14% annual churn.
okay.
Standard in iOS apps is like 35%.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So we're getting
Yeah,
there.
I definitely agree with that tactic. Like, just get it out there, even if it's not perfect, and then refine and improve after the fact.
Yeah. It's pretty much what we've been doing. But like the change, or I guess the thought behind it was in the previous month, we did $3,500 in revenue and spent 8 grand on marketing. Like, okay, this is fine, but if we can find a way to not spend that 8 grand and still make the same $3,500, then we should just find a way to do that.
Yeah.
So then fast forward to the next month, we're at $3,200 in revenue and $0 spent on creators. Like, okay, this is going to be better. The growth is slower, but the profit is way higher.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's you're no longer doing like a pay per video. It's a swap.
100%. Yeah. We will get back to paid per video because I've been considering opening it back up, and we looked at our list of creators, and I just don't think anybody has really, really hit the nail on the head. It's like 1 in 15 people that are doing a really good job where we're going to see some serious positive ROI. But then I also noticed that it was partially my pitch. Like, I looked at what I'm pitching versus what Tara has asked these brands to do. And I think her pitch is better. Like, her whole thing is like storytelling, not selling. It's not about convincing people to join. It's about sharing your journey as a mom, sharing your journey with sleep challenges. And I think I pitched it a little more transactional. So this is where just inexperience in this niche is coming into play.
Yeah. Do you think it's more about the niche, not the pitch?
I think it's my pitch in this niche.
Yeah. Like, do you think that your pitch in another niche like mine would work better?
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm more sales oriented, more transactional, more let's make some fucking money together, not as like emotionally appealing to new parents.
Fair. Yeah.
So yeah, my pitch is like, this is going to be awesome. We're both going to make some money. Like, this is the best thing ever. But I just don't think that that is the pitch that's going to resonate with a lot of people in this industry.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It's just a learning curve. And then the other side, we get so many requests to build an Android version. Holy shit. So many. So yeah, building Android is like 30 grand. So we just want to build up a list that's large enough where when we launch it, we're just going to make it all back on the back end. So we're just not there yet. Just got to build up the list a little bit more.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
annoying.
And then there's requests for other features like one that we've been working on that's kind of more complicated than I thought, but it's milk feeds. So it's like breastfeeding, pumping, bottle feeding, measuring quantities. And then there's the time delay reminders, like you haven't fed Johnny in 2 hours, and then you send a push notification based on the time cadence, based on the child's age, based on how much they consumed previously. It's like this whole big math equation to figure out when the child needs to eat as well. So it's kind of like duplicating our sleep feature and catering it towards milk consumption.
Hmm.
So that's something that we're working on. Got to revamp onboarding. Just a never-ending list of like things
Never
that have
end.
to be improved.
Yep. Now you're feeling the MVP is the 20%. It's all the back end that is the real work.
Dude, MVP was like negative 10%. I should have just not done it and done it better this way.
Yeah, there's no way getting around it. Like you had to go through those failures in order to get to here, and then
Yeah, of course. Of course. You got to go through it. But
progress. Yeah, just power through it. Don't give
yeah,
up.
it's interesting. You set yourself a budget. I'm like, I'm not going to spend more than 30 grand. But then every time you spend another $1,000 on dev, you feel like the light at the end of the tunnel gets a little bit closer. You're like, if I just invest a little bit more, it'll be a little bit better, and our retention metrics will improve by this incremental amount.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's just never ending. Dev doesn't end. That's all it is,
Dev doesn't
basically.
end. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that a lot of the new kind of side dev clients we've been working with, it's tough to explain it because everyone thinks in that way before you have that experience. It's like, oh, I just want to spend 10 grand and then get an app made, and it's just like that's not how it works. Like you need to think of these like your employee, even though they're not, and they like as long as this business is alive, like they will be a cost associated with your business. And that then leads to it's like, oh, well, now you have to know how to run a business with costs and like input and output and all these, you know. I'm so glad that I went like you and I collectively both went through I mean, that hence the name of our podcast, Agency to SaaS, like learning that whole how to run a business, at a lower difficulty level with an agency and then applying that knowledge to run a SaaS and be able to understand that these are the fundamentals that are required in order to have a successful business.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. It also, getting into SaaS teaches me what I used to think that an agency was unscalable. It's not really true. Like SaaS is technically unscalable if you don't want to hire a bunch of more devs and like marketing managers, and like there's still hiring. There's still a level of complexity as the team scales, as your customer base scales, your expenses scale. It's like it's kind of the same thing, just
Kinda.
different.
I think
I
the
mean,
difference,
software is more scalable, but
yeah, the main difference I've seen is like instead of selling and building 12 different things for 12 different clients, you're just building and selling one thing over and over and over and over and over and over, which I think reduce it like that burnout that we both had with like trying to get even if it's the same service, it's done in slightly different ways for each client.
yeah.
And that is just so draining versus just a singular focus on one thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely not churn and burn, but it's a first starting out, it's an interesting shift when you get feedback from customers and they're like, "Oh, I want this feature." At first I'm like, "Yeah, great, no problem. Yeah, we can do that." But then you realize that that changes the experience for every other customer. So it's not like when you're operating a service where you build exactly for what the customer wants. You give them 100% of what they're looking for. Versus in this case, it's like you need to look at what the massive majority of people want and recognize that you're going to have some pissed off customers.
Yeah.
And that's why every single app you see next to the 5-star rating, the next most clicked button is the 1-star rating. Because
Yep.
there's always going to be some people that just don't like what you built at all.
Yeah. We always run through new features through, is this a critical thing? Is this a must have or a want? And
Yeah.
how many people does this affect? And if it doesn't affect more than a large percentage of the customer base, it gets added to the public roadmap, and then people go and upvote it. Show us that you want this by upvoting it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great idea.
So
That's it. That's on.
cool. Well, yeah,
Anyway,
good,
man,
good
sorry, I
to
gotta probably jump here. I got some
all,
crying kids downstairs.
yeah, all good. Yeah, get back to the fam. Hope everyone's doing good. Yeah, excited to hear the updates, and hopefully we can connect longer next week.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I should have some more exciting stuff next week.
Nice, cool. All right, well,
Cool.
thanks everyone for watching. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.